All right, let's talk about wives meeting their husband's sexual needs. Yes, now, and don't now hear me out, so don't start writing all kind of crazy stuff before you even heard me out. All right, we're talking about coming from First Corinthians chapter 7, where it talks about for the sake of immorality, let every husband have a wife, let every wife have a husband, and then the husband got to render to the wife the affection due her. Wives got to render to their husbands the affection due them. And the Apostle Paul said that I write this as a concession, not as a commandment, but he knows that if people's needs aren't being met, they can get easily tempted by the devil. So he said, don't deprive one another except with a consent for a time. So if we're not going to have sex, you're not going to have sex with your spouse, let your spouse know that everything's cut off until you're done fasting and praying or whatever you're going through, so that at least it's in the air and nobody's expecting anything, and then don't receive any of their sexual affection. Now in this one here, I want to primarily focus on the wives meeting the husband's needs, and of course we might go into part 2 and part 3 as well. Wives have to take care of the husbands. Now, usually I'm always, talking about how that the men are the head of the household, they're the priest of the home and so forth, and men do have the authority to pray that life and that marriage into subjection to the will of God and to make things happen by what they say. However, where I'm coming from right now is because women also have a part to play in that sexual relationship with their husbands. And many husbands feel like their wives are just giving them the sex out of obligation because of wives. And this is believers from a biblical perspective. I'm not talking about worldly folk. So Christians who want to do right in the sight of God, the wives oftentimes just give it to their husbands because they feel obligated to do so. And sister, let me tell you, husband don't like it like that. He wants you to want him as well. And not only that, whatever the husband's asking for, the Bible says marriage is honored above all things and the bed is undefiled. And so, your husband, you know how he was when you married him. You have to give him the affection due him, whatever he wants. You guys got to talk about it. There might be some compromises. However, if you don't take care of your man, and you just leave him hanging every day, every morning, every night, and days pass by and weeks, you don't know any other ways you can satisfy your man or relieve him. I know one lady once said before, she said, Pastor, I exhaust my man. As an African woman, she said she exhausts her man. And now every man would love a wife like that, who would just exhaust them and just wear them out so they don't even be thinking about it throughout the day. But again, wives got to take care of your husbands, or else he's easily tempted. And you find your husband now he's watching porn. Now he's interested in all the other women everywhere he goes. His eyes are roaming here and there and looking at everything. And he's got, because there's a devil who will definitely work his flesh and tempt him, because he'll keep saying, see, your wife didn't give you none, your wife didn't help you out, your wife didn't provide anything for you. And that's how easy it works. For his attention is elsewhere. He's wondering what's wrong with you, and he might even begin to dislike you and might not even be able to perform with you because he doesn't like you, because you don't ever take care of him. You don't ever give him what he wants. There's no creativity. There's no color in the relationship anymore. It's just 1, 2, 3, and we're done. And he wants that fun. He wants some of those same things that he might have seen elsewhere or how it used to be. So wives, you have to take care of your husband's needs sexually. And that's the bottom line. Now, I know wives and women are saying, well, he won't do this and he won't do that. We'll get to that. But I'm first of all, if everything's right, examine yourself, woman, and make sure if everything's right, you've done everything you're supposed to do, he's doing everything he's supposed to do, and then you need to be taking care of your husband. That's the bottom line. Or else you could find yourself losing a good man simply because you just would not satisfy him sexually. You wouldn't take care of his needs. Now, click subscribe and follow. BFABP.com. That's believers from a biblical perspective. Yeah, click subscribe and then share this also with your friends and loved ones. Pass it on. Some women need to hear this right now. Many men probably would love their wives and many women to know about this as well. So we'll come back and let's talk about it some more.